Hello, my name is Michele, and you're listening to Profit is a Choice. Usually, we talk about ending the year well, and I've really been wondering, what would it look like to start the year well? So hang with me as we consider what we can do, what are some things that we can implement to start our year off well. Every day, empowered entrepreneurs are taking ownership of their company financial health and enjoying the rewards of reduced stress and more creativity. With my background as a financial software developer, owner of multiple businesses in the interior design industry, educator, and speaker, I coach women in the interior design industry to increase their profits, regain ownership of their bottom line, and to have fun again in their business. Welcome to Profit is a Choice. Hello, and welcome to the new year. To be honest, sometimes I really get caught in the tension of wanting to start the new year, but at the same time, not really wanting it to come. Usually because I'm looking ahead and I'm taking it all in. And all I can think about is all the things that I need to do, the big goals that I want to achieve, the strategy that I've set. I'm excited and I am almost afraid or fearful of the time it's going to take and the effort it's going to take and what's going to happen. And I also know that I'm already feeling overwhelmed before I start. So what I've done is I have comprised a list of about 8 things that will help me and also I hope help you think about how to begin the year well. So think about how you can be very intentional with the work in front of you. First, I think about the end of this coming year. So if this is a new year, I go ahead and think about what is the end of this current year going to look like? Meaning I'm trying to project out 1 year. And I ask a few questions, things like, where do I want to be at the end of the year as a company? Who do I want to be with? What do I want to be doing? And then I start thinking, right? So there are more questions like that. How to reverse engineer that? So that I can meet those goals. There are a couple of books that I really love that help me work through that. And I also know that just going through that exercise, that looking at the end and then looking back breaks the work down into manageable chunks so I don't feel like overwhelmed with everything at one time. The second thing that I like to do is ask what can be removed. I'm really not great at that. I'll just be honest. I tend to just keep adding and want to give and do. And maybe you're like that as well. But I am trying to get into a really good habit that if I add something new, I take something away. I one time worked with a professional stylist and I've seen this on Instagram and other places as well. So it kind of supports it. But her comment was, Michele, every time you bring something into your closet, take something out. And that was when we were talking about clothing. And I just thought so smart because otherwise everything gets jumbled and the drawers are too full, the closet's too full. And I would say, what if we looked at our to-do list the same way? Michele, when you add something to the list, take something off of the list. And so I'm going to work really hard to do that over this next year. I think that mindset of clearing out while I'm building and while I'm going feels better than all the baggage of all the past things that I have on my to-do list. The other thing I would say, number 3, is to focus on 1 quarter at a time. Again, not on the entire year, but on a small subset. So 3 months. There are 2 books in this category that I really love. One is Traction, and that is by Gino Wickman. And the other is The 12-Week Year. And that's by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. And they both, or all 3 of them, talk about in these 2 books how to create a subset. So almost a year and a quarter. What that does is it keeps you focused. You can only do 1 or 2 things at a time and do them well. And so instead of looking at the entire year of all the things that we have to do, you're able to break it down. And so I really enjoy just that way of thinking. And number 4 is to really assess who is on the journey with me, who's my support team. I recognize, and you probably do too at this point, that we're not able to build these businesses by ourselves and serve the clients at the same time and then do it well. We're just not. There's too many moving pieces and parts and too much to do. And so knowing that we need help and when we need help is highly important. So I am going to really think about who is on my team this year. I've done many podcasts about this, but it's truly an exercise that I go through. Who am I going to work with? Who's supporting me? Who can I support? How do we work together? And so I encourage you to think about what else could your team need? This could be a full-time person, a part-time person, or even contract labor. It's just, what is it that is needed? It could be a person, a skill set to move you forward, a support system. Having the right people makes all the difference. The fifth thing I have is I'm always reviewing my foundation. Who are we as a company? What do we do? Who do we serve? It kind of goes back to some of those questions that I asked earlier, but thinking into what are the values that we hold and that we want to implement as a firm, the values that we're looking for alignment with our vendors and subcontractors, and then also with our clients. I'm telling you, if you don't have this, and I know you hear it all the time, and I feel like I say it all the time, and I guess that's because it's so important. But if we don't have these things, it very much feels like we've been dropped into the middle of a dense forest, and we have no map, we have no GPS, we have no compass, we have nothing that is going to give us any idea of the terrain. We've been blindfolded and we've just dropped in. And that's the way it feels when we're running these businesses, because they get bigger and hairier and they're growing around us. If we don't have that internal compass, that business foundation. And so I have mine on a notebook paper, and I continually go back to it over and over and over. And it really cuts down the time for decision making for me. And it creates clarity where things could be muddy without it. Number 6 is to create space. I don't know about you, but I need space, not just physical space. I need head space, creative space, emotional space, just space to even feel my body and space to think and to design and to be creative and all those things. And my schedule gets really jammed up, and my guess is yours does as well. So as I am looking out over this new year, I'm thinking about how do I create that bandwidth, that white space, so that I can breathe and I can think and I can plan, so that I can be better at what I do and I can come into it fresh and renewed. And so, that doesn't happen if we don't put it on the calendar. We just don't wake up and all of a sudden have white space. So what I have chosen to do is each month, I'm choosing 1 week out of that month that I'm trying to not do client-facing work, so that I can make the work that I do very internal, very thoughtful, very intentional, to build up both Scarlet Thread Consulting and Matrix Solutions, so that I can continue to serve. And then the other 3 weeks of the month will be more client-facing, so I can get that work done. You may feel like you need the same thing, but yours may be design-related. I hope that it's also business-related, so that you're building your business at the same time. Building that margin into our schedule is really going to make a difference. The 7th thing that I'm going to try to do this year is to really be easy on myself. As an owner of a firm, we carry a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility. We're making a lot of decisions. And so that just carries such a weight that we almost feel like we can't make a mistake or a misstep. And so we might offer ease to other people, but we don't often offer it to ourselves. And so I invite you to join me in being easy with yourself this year. So certainly reach for the goals, certainly go after the things that you need to, but give yourself some grace, give yourself forgiveness, and try to make things easy. The 8th thing that I'll do is I make space to play and to learn. We're going to make mistakes, like I said, and so are our team members. But just consider how you can create a company that's fun, where people want to come. They're spending a lot of time there. So, it may be that it's at lunchtime. It may be just smiling. It may just be creating joy in your workplace. But I know this next year is the year that I want to be filled with joy, and I want to be filled with abundance and love and kindness and curiosity. And I can only do that if I set an intention to do that. And, we can't make light of everything. Like, we can't just overlook every single mistake. That'll cost us too much, and we'll lose our money, we'll lose our respect, we'll lose all kinds of things, like our reputation with our clients. We have to be very careful. And I'm not saying not to be, but I'm saying everything doesn't have to be a major. Some things are minor. And we should just find a way to learn through these items and mistakes and opportunities, so that we can enjoy ourselves. I hope some of this encouraged you, and I hope that it makes you consider what is it that you want to build for this next year? What do you want your year to be like? Set that intention. Think about it in advance. Do you have a foundation? I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the things that you're doing to begin the year well, right? Not just to end it well, but how do we start the way that we want to complete the year? One thing I also do is determine who is going to be on my closest support team, not just my employees, not just everything, but that really close team who's going to build me up when I need it. And I have a couple of people who do that for me. I would love an opportunity to do it with you if you think that that could be a match, whether it's through Scarlet Thread Consulting and coaching and education, or whether it's through Matrix Solutions, where we have financial tools to help you analyze and make quick decisions with your money. Either way, assisting you in creating a healthy, profitable, and productive company is what we're all about here. You can check it out at scarletthreadconsulting.com and matrixsolutions.com. And as you plan your year, I ask you, plan to be profitable, because we all know profit doesn't happen by accident. Profit is a Choice is proud to be part of the designnetwork.org, where you can discover more design media reaching creative listeners. Thanks for listening, and stay creative and business minded.